Hi, I'm weather analyst Andrew Fleck, just here for your late Monday night into your early Tuesday morning weather outlook for analysiswx.com. The points we're going to have late tonight into this early morning is going to be the thunderstorms across the south, the lake effect snows that are going to affect the lakes in the next day and a half into Wednesday, and the possibilities of another wintry storm that could be a little bigger come this Sunday, which we'll just touch slightly on. So currently we're going to get into the radar here and show you what we're firstly talking about. And the main area to really talk about so far on this radar map is the severe weather over these southern states. And this, what pretty much happened was you had a cold front coming across the Midwest. And by the way, behind this cold front is very excessive, very cold air. And that's going to continue to move to the east coast through Tuesday and Wednesday. But what we had is the combination of a warm front earlier today, just extending south across the Gulf, and that was pumping a lot of thunderstorms over the areas of the southern states. And with the combination of a cold front coming in, that really formed a lot of instability by the Gulf states here, and that's one reason why it occurred. There were even some tornado warnings that occurred, but I'm not sure if any were confirmed yet, at least not on my knowledge. Elsewhere, as this front starts to move through, like I talked about, here's some snow, thunder snow, heavy snow starting to occur across the lakes. And this is just really touching the surfaces of what's going to be happening Tuesday night into Wednesday across the Great Lakes. The machines are going to get rolling again. We talked about 2-3 days ago, some areas had 3 feet of snow from this, the past round 1 lake effect snow event. Well, lake effect snow event 2 is coming on, and there could be another couple of feet falling across the lakes once again Tuesday night into Wednesday, and we're going to touch a little bit on that on the next imagery here. And what happens is you have this storm up here around the northeast starts to tighten up, and now it's pulling just a west northwest wind, and you're still having that snow start to fall across the Great Lakes still around your Tuesday night. And what's happening here is you're not getting as much as the northwest winds pulling for yet, but then as that storm really starts to take lift and really starts to tighten up here in the northeast, that's when you're getting a dead-on northwest wind, and that's where the areas are going to get more isolated around the lakes, and that's where we're going to start to be seeing snow falling anywhere from a few feet, and of course that's going to be the worst area, anywhere from a few feet to just some flakes could be falling in those areas I just circled. And yes, I know it's across the east coast into Pennsylvania, eastern PA, New Jersey, because some of that snow could actually extend into the east coast, and this shouldn't be a major accumulation as you would wake up early Wednesday, but maybe across the extreme eastern portions of the region you could wake up and see a few flakes flying, but the major accumulation of snow would be falling more by the lakes. Like I said, they could have up to a few inches to a few feet. So it's going to be a pretty nasty lake effect snow event across the northeast and Great Lakes regions. Next, we're going to get into the one thing that I said I'd talk a little bit about, and that is a possible storm scenario setting up for this coming Sunday. And I know the media, the news media, the weather media has been buffing this up, calling it the storm that's going to affect the East Coast with the first significant snowfall of this season. And while as of now you could argue that could occur, you could argue against that, I decided to go and look into more of the realistic side, and that is taking model by model, day by day, to analyze this and to see if it's really right fit and truly if it could occur. And here's what happens. Friday you get a low pressure in the Gulf, okay? You have your front finally pushing off the coast. But now what happens is you have a trough here. And the big deciding factor is if you have a deep trough, okay, extending down across the Midwest, this storm is going to get barreled right up along the coast. And temperatures are really not going to matter. If this storm is close along the coast, it's not just going to perform snow, but it's going to be a very bad storm and a very tightened storm. But that only occurs if this trough can go from looking like this to looking like this. And you need to have a tightening trough right down there so the storm can ride the axis up the coast and give a substantial snow. Now, if indeed this does not go and deepen, you're going to have the same trough like this. What then happens is the storm rides just maybe up to South Carolina, the Carolinas, goes off the coast, and then we wait for this air mass to then not deepen down through the southern states in the Midwest, but just deepens into the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, a low pressure across here by Northeast and Maine. And what do you get? A monster storm across the Maine coast. So you kind of see what I'm getting here. If you have a strong trough, okay, something like this, it's real deep, you get a stronger storm and a storm that hovers the coast. If you get something that looks like this, where there's really no deepening trough or any amplification in the trough, the low pressure pretty much just suddenly settles out of here, maybe a few showers, really nothing to deal with. So being this 6.5, 7 days away, there's going to be a lot of things to look into to whether the models start showing more of an amplification here and this storm meaning starts to move more closer to the coast, or does it stay the same and we get a flatter trough and the storm rides off to the sea and then later on affects Maine. We'll have to see, and we'll definitely analyze it and observate it for you in the next coming days, but as of right now, that's only what most news media and weather media should be touching on. Nothing more than that. No snowfall amounts, none of that. This is just a touching up and something to make known to you folks that, hey, if this starts coming into conclusion and starts coming into comparison and compromise with the other models, you're going to start to maybe wonder by midweek if this could really occur. So we'll talk more about this as the next day is coming through. And as for now, that is it for your late Monday night, early Tuesday morning update. There'll be a later one on this afternoon and evening, and we'll talk about if any changes had occurred. So I'm weather analyst Andrew Fleck. Have a good Tuesday morning and afternoon, and talk to you soon.